What's going on, everyone? It's your boy Savvy, and welcome back to the Savvy Show. And today, from the looks of it, it seems like we have an aquatic SCP, and this SCP is SCP-3700, the Tides of War. So, interesting to have this title and the thumbnail. It made it seem like there's a war going on within, this SCP. So maybe it's a domain that holds other, creatures that's considered one whole SCP, because we know there's certain SCPs that have like SCP-1, SCP-2, stuff like that. So maybe it might be like this. There's different variations of one SCP and they just categorize it as completely SCP-3700, but I'm excited to find out and see what this battle is all about. So if you guys are excited for this reaction and this SCP video, please remember to smash that like button. It means the world, and it takes less than a second, especially if you like the video. It would be awesome. And if you haven't already subbed to the channel, hey, I think this is the best time to do it, man. We make content here daily, so you'll never be bored on this channel. And trust me, if you like my reaction style, you like SCP videos, this is gonna be the perfect place to be to get your fix at SCP heat, man. I'm telling you, we go full throttle, we don't slow down, so let's get it popping. And also remember, the original creator, which is Dr. Bob, his video link will be in the description below. Feel free to check them out if you're able to, but without all out the way, it's time to get this show started. Alrighty, SCP-3700, Tides of War. Let's get it.
Two massive creatures are locked in a fight to the death in the middle of the sea. Destroyers, cruisers, and battleships fire special weapons and harpoons at one of the creatures, attempting to help turn the tide in favor of one.
Damn.
But they appear to have almost no effect on the gigantic monster.
Oh my god, they're huge.
I'm Dr. Bob,
hold up,
attempting to help turn the tide.
This looks like a gigantic lobster. And this dude, I'm not too sure. Looks like a big eel with a super fat head. I don't know, but this definitely looks like a lobster, man. Whoa, yo, I can't wait to see more than just their silhouettes.
Tide in favor of one. But they appear to have almost no effect on the gigantic monster.
Jesus, they're so huge.
I'm Dr. Bob, and
no,
this
come on now.
is SCP-3700, also known as the Tides of War.
Alrighty.
SCP-3700 is what the SCP Foundation has labeled an 800-kilometer circular area in the North Sea, located southeast of Iceland and north of the United Kingdom. The circle contains the Faroe, Orkney, and Shetland Islands. The seafloor is abnormally deep in this area, at roughly 5 kilometers below the ocean surface, roughly 20 times deeper than the rest of the North Sea. SCP-3700 experiences all kinds of strange, anomalous activity, including extreme weather and geological events. These are caused by the interaction between two separate entities, which have been designated as SCP-3700-1 and SCP-3700-2.
Yo, what did I say? I basically figured it's going to be something similar like that, because I know it's something small, but like I enjoy, not being a complete noob anymore with certain SCPs. Like I kind of like think ahead a little bit, so yeah, it feels good. Let me just keep it going.
SCP-3700-1 is an arthropod resembling the common lobster, except this crustacean is 6 kilometers long. It has a variety of blue, yellow, pink.
Who drew that? Come on, who really drew that? And don't tell me it's part of the design or like some dumb shit. Like some being drew this shit on his, bro. Maybe that's why he's getting in battles, bro. People are making fun of him and shit. Like, yo.
And red markings carved into its carapace that resembles a woman's face. It has 6 arm-like limbs.
Go back.
Pink and red marking is 6 kilometers long. It has a variety of blue, yellow, pink, and red markings carved into its carapace that resembles a woman's face. It has 6 arm-like limbs.
They don't talk about how it's there. So, okay, I guess they're alluding to it's just part of his design, Because it would be interesting if SCP was messing with it and drew it just to get some revenge, and he can't reach it because his claws, are too fucking small, But anyway.
4 of which have claws, with 2 having club-like appendages on the end, and 8 legs. It also has 4 orange eyes at the end of stalks. 3701's carapace shows significant damage, with many scars, cracks, and even some holes that reveal its soft inner tissue.
He's been through it.
It has several anomalous capabilities that it uses in its battle against SCP-3700.
Yo, you about to get eaten up.
Its two club-like appendages are capable of
Woo!
striking, but they also produce a
What's that?
cavitation bubble that generates a force equal to several tons of dynamite.
Bro, that reminds me of what creature? It's a kind of, I think it's called like the pistol lobster. It's like the pistol lobster. It's a super or a pistol shrimp or pistol lobster. It's like a lobster or shrimp. I'm pretty sure it's a lobster where one claw is way bigger than the other, and it like snaps super quick, and like the pressure of that could cause like a pistol shot. And there was like a Netflix movie with Jamie Foxx. He had that power. I forgot what it's called, but different people have different abilities, and he had that power, and it blew up everything. Like it seemed like he just did that. I don't know. I'm geeking because I when I read about that creature and how small it is, like it fascinated me. And seeing it animated like in a movie and seeing it now in the SCP, that is pretty dope. Yeah, I just had to say that.
To what the mantis shrimp is able to do, but on a much larger scale. Two of its eyes are able to project concentrated blasts of gamma radiation, and it's able to stop storms or other weather phenomena. Despite being 6 kilometers long, 3701 can reach speeds faster than 100 kilometers per hour, and has even shown the ability to demanifest and disappear if it doesn't locate SCP-3700-2 within roughly 15 days after appearing.
What?
SCP-3701 appears to be friendly in nature and shows some small signs of intelligence.
I wouldn't have thought that.
When accompanied by Foundation ships, it will either ignore them or provide a small amount of aid by helping to move disabled craft away from danger.
Wow.
After appearing, it travels the full 800-kilometer area of SCP-3700 in a spiral pattern from the center out toward the edge.
He's on a mission.
Interestingly, the center is the exact center point between the 3 island chains located within the circle, and is home to numerous shipwrecks. Since being first discovered by the Foundation in 1922,
This is probably in the Bermuda Triangle.
3701 has slowed down considerably in its movement and has lost a significant amount of mass. It was first measured at a length of 16 kilometers, a full 10 kilometers longer than its current state. It also appears weaker and seems to be having a much harder time subduing SCP-3700-2.
What happened to it?
SCP-3700-2, on the other hand, looks like it belongs to the family of ray-finned fish and has an appearance that closely resembles the pelican eel, except that it has 13 appendages in the middle section of its body.
I assume it's a kind of eel.
These appendages look like the tentacles of an octopus, complete with suckers, and can tuck them into its body when not in use. 3700-2 is currently 32 kilometers long, and opposite to SCP-3701, it is growing larger, having only been 300 meters long when first identified in 1945.
Damn, it's getting
Most
bigger.
of that length is the creature's whip-like tail that ends in a sharpened point.
Wait, so maybe it's different from the wait, no, so they measured the lobster saying it got shorter. I was gonna say maybe it seems like it's losing the fight and it's getting smaller because this dude is getting bigger. But I guess that is false because they measured, the lobster monster and he is getting smaller. More than half his size. Is he taking his powers or something, or his energy?
It's currently roughly 1 kilometer wide at its largest point, and each of its 13 tentacles is around 60 meters long. Its most distinctive feature is its massive mouth, which can open up almost 3 kilometers wide.
Looks like a whale's mouth.
3702 is black in color, with white, purple, and red bioluminescent lines that resemble a man's face on either side of its torso. SCP-3702 can create sudden changes in the weather, generating huge storms and Category 5 hurricanes.
What the heck?
As well as massive whirlpools that suck in any vessel within 150 meters before grabbing them with its tentacles and tearing them apart. It's also able to produce high-energy sound waves and streams of blue fire from its mouth that it uses to destroy close-range targets.
Underwater?
SCP-3702 appears at random locations within the 800-kilometer area, except during the spring and autumn equinoxes, when it appears at the exact center of SCP-3700. It stays submerged unless it encounters 3701 or another object, and will demanifest roughly 15 days after first appearing.
What?
It's extremely hostile to any creature or object that approaches it,
Dang.
and has even been witnessed destroying entire pods of whales.
All the whales!
Conventional weapons have no effect
Look
on
how
it,
big that dude
and even
is!
special anomalous weapons used by the Foundation have only had a moderate effect.
Okay, the special anomaly weapons, I want to get more information about them. Because I was talking about in a previous SCP video, like how they capture SCPs. They don't really go in depth about how they actually captured set SCPs when they're in the wild and they're just in the facility now. And I would love to see more information about the weapons they use for certain SCPs. It would be kind of cool. It will flesh out the Foundation a lot more too throughout the videos. So hopefully they start doing that.
Only 3701 has so far been able to subdue it.
Jeez.
When SCP-3701 and 3702 do meet each other, they will engage in a prolonged fight, with each attempting to temporarily kill or subdue the other.
Oh my god.
Historically, the winner of each contest
Jeez.
will swap depending on which half of the year it was, with 3701 consistently winning during the Northern Hemisphere's spring and summer, and 3702 winning during the fall and winter. However, since the Foundation has begun implementing containment procedures, SCP-3701 has won the last 64 cycles in a row. A number of changes happen when one of the creatures wins. When 3701 is successful, major storms in the area immediately cease, crop yields double, and local oceanic life increases their reproductive rates by a factor of 3. This can lead to dead zones forming from the overpopulation of certain species of zooplankton. Erosion rates on the islands also increase by a factor of 5, which has led to the Foundation needing to bring in large amounts of dirt and sand in an attempt to combat it. When SCP-3702 wins and subdues or kills 3701, the weather becomes very dangerous, with powerful hurricanes and rapid temperature changes that can range from below 0 to over 28 degrees Celsius, capable of causing massive damage to buildings and huge losses of life.
So I'm assuming they're immortal. Or, I shouldn't say immortal. They could get reincarnated, or they have just multiple lives, because I'm assuming they battle like every time, like within the 15 days they find each other, they battle. One dies, one gets subdued, and the one's the winner. So I'm assuming within those battles they die and they come back to life. So do they just disappear when they die and they just pop up later? Like, come on.
Travel by sea becomes extremely difficult due to huge waves and storm surges, making it difficult for supplies to reach the islands. Ocean food sources are driven from the area, and crop yields are reduced. Following its victory, 3702 does not demanifest, and instead continues to patrol the area and attack vessels, and will even approach the islands themselves.
Dang.
Foundation Naval Task Force Delta 7, nicknamed Northern Storm, is tasked with locating and assisting SCP-3701 in its struggle against 3702. Purchased from the United States military, it consists of 13 destroyers, 5 cruisers, and 15 smaller support craft.
Stacked.
When Delta 7 locates SCP-3701,
help them out.
It will often acknowledge their presence by raising 2 of its claws into the air, while making a low rumbling noise with its mouth.
Let's get it.
Delta 7 then accompanies SCP-3701 as it patrols its 800-kilometer area for 3702. Once the two meet, Delta 7 engages in Protocol Winter Maelstrom, where the destroyers shoot harpoon-based anchors into 3702's head, before moving in a circular pattern while they and battleships fire on it to ensure it can't orient itself. The cruisers, meanwhile, attempt to draw its attention by firing and moving in a serpentine pattern at a distance of 300 meters.
Dang, they're good.
The two creatures will battle, blasting each other with gamma radiation and powerful sound waves.
Straight war zone.
They whip, bite, and club each other, cracking armor and ripping off tentacles and other appendages.
Woo!
Until one finally stops moving
Woo!
and dissolves into the sea. Should SCP-3702 be successful in defeating 3701, then Project Tumult is activated, and the following procedures must take place. First, there is an immediate evacuation of all naval and civilian craft from the 800-kilometer zone. Next, all trade and ferry routes are stopped or rerouted for at least 6 months, and land-based aquatic defenses are activated. Aerial craft will continue to monitor and engage with 3702, while others continue to look for a reappearance of SCP-3701. Since it appears that SCP-3701 continues to physically degrade, and with the exact opposite being true for 3702, it's been proposed to let 3702 win and subdue 3701 twice every 5 years, despite the terrible effect on locals in the area. Though this plan has yet to be approved, it may be the only chance to stop 3702 from becoming so strong that 3701 is never able to defeat it again.
What? Hold on, let me hear this one more time.
Aquatic defenses are activated. Then Project Tumult is activated, and the following procedures must take place. Routes are stopped or rerouted for at least 6 months, and land-based aquatic defenses are activated. Aerial craft will continue to monitor and engage with 3702, while others continue to look for a reappearance of SCP-3701. Since it appears that SCP-3701 continues to physically degrade, and with the exact opposite...
Yeah, so that's the question I have. Why is he degrading? That's what I want to know. Is it because he's losing a lot more, and that's why he's degrading and getting smaller, and it's getting harder for him to beat him? Because if that's the case, why is the other dude not losing or getting smaller when he loses? It doesn't make any sense.
It being true for 3702. It's been proposed to let 3702 win and subdue 3701 twice every 5 years, despite the terrible effect on locals in the area. Though this plan has yet to be approved, it may be the only chance to stop 3702 from becoming so strong that 3701 is never able to defeat it again.
That's insane. So, it was a phenomenal SCP. I figured it would be like 2 SCPs with the same number, but two different dash numbers per se. I don't know what you call them, but yeah, I liked it a lot. I was liking the lobster, like his moveset. I kind of liked his moveset, but it's interesting. I want to know if he's getting smaller and smaller because he's losing a lot more, And if that's the case, is the other dude, like the -2, actually getting smaller when he loses? We didn't get any information about that. But all in all, it was a great SCP battle, Warzone, to say the least, the finest. I love the lobster. Like, yo, he was like the good dude. He's like the good guy, and the other guy was like the bad guy. So it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool seeing them duke it out. And our first aquatic SCP, and it was a battle to say the least. So I was glad to react to it. If you guys love the reaction, please remember to smash that like button. Also remember to smash the sub button. If you're not already part of the family, we want to make content like this daily so you'll never be bored on this channel, and you'll always get your fix of SCP doses of heat. So with that all out the way, I hope you guys all have a phenomenal day, and unfortunately that concludes the show. But like always, I'll catch you guys on the next one. With